If you've been looking for the perfect barrel leg trousers, these might be it. Today I'll be sewing the Root Trousers by Maruca Patterns, a modern barrel leg trouser featuring bold front pleats, inseam pockets, a jean-style fly zipper, and a curved waistband that sits comfortably against the waist without gaping. The pattern is available in sizes 0 through 30, and I'll be sewing a size 6 today. If you'd like to make your own pair, I'll leave a link to the pattern in the description down below. It comes with a home print option, copy shop option, and projector file, so you can choose whichever format works best for you. It can also be customized into Bermuda shorts or a shorter shorts version. For fabric, I recommend a structured mid-weight woven fabric such as cotton twill, lightweight denim, or even linen. The fabric you choose will have a big impact on the final shape, as you can see in these pictures. More structured fabrics create a sculptural barrel silhouette, while softer fabrics give a more relaxed look. You'll also need a zipper, a button or hook and eye closure, and some lightweight fusible interfacing. You'll find the exact fabric requirements, zipper lengths, cutting layouts, and plenty of additional tips and information in the sewing instructions. With that covered, let's get started and make a pair of Root trousers. Before we start sewing, cut out all of your fabric pieces and transfer any notches or markings to your fabric. Next, apply fusible interfacing to the waistband to add structure and stability. If you're working with a lighter or softer fabric, you'll also want to interface the fly shield and the fly extension. Fold your fly shield in half with right sides together and sew along the bottom edge using a 1 cm seam allowance. Then turn it right side out, trim the corner and press it flat. Then finish the raw edges of the fly shield and the curved edge of the fly extension. You can either use a serger or a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. Set those aside for now, then take your front pant pieces, finish the raw edges along the center front, the crotch seam area. You'll notice a small step in the seam allowance. Do not cut this off. As you sew and reach the step, finish your seam, lift your presser foot, reposition the fabric, lower the presser foot, and continue sewing along the edge. Take your right front trouser piece and place the fly extension on top, right sides together. Sew them together with a 1 cm seam allowance, stopping 1 cm above the seam allowance marking indicated by a small dot on the pattern piece. Then press the seam allowance towards the facing and understitch it. Stop at the point where the fly facing was attached. Take your left front pant piece and zipper. Place the zipper face down along the edge, aligning the zipper tape with the fabric's edge. You'll want your zipper stop to be approximately 1.5 cm away from the top of the pant. Using a zipper foot, stitch the zipper tape to the fabric, sewing approximately 1 cm from the fabric edge, so within the seam allowance. If the zipper pull gets in the way while sewing, you'll need to stop with the needle down, lift the presser foot, move the pull past the foot, then continue attaching. Lay the fly shield on top of the zipper with the serge edges aligned to the zipper tape. Sew it down, making sure you don't stitch through the zipper's teeth. To make sewing easier, you can position your pins so they sit on the opposite side of the fabric. This allows you to follow the same stitching line you used to attach the zipper. Here you'll probably encounter the same problem we had earlier, and you'll have to move the zipper pull out of the way while sewing. Then press everything towards the left pant piece, then edge stitch to secure the layers in place. Sew as close to the zipper as possible. Now place both front pant pieces together, right sides facing. Pin and sew the crotch seam with a 1 cm seam allowance. Next, fold the pants into their natural position, allowing the zipper to fall naturally against the fly extension. Pin the fly shield to the opposite pant leg to keep it out of the way. Pin the zipper tape to the fly extension in this position. The zipper may look slightly off or not perfectly straight at the top, but that's completely normal. Do not force it into a straight line. This is the exact position you want to sew it in. If you try to adjust or straighten it, it can twist or become visible when the pants are worn. Using a zipper foot, stitch the zipper tape to the fly facing. Now you'll need to baste the fly facing in place. This is just a temporary stitching to hold everything steady. Flip your pants so the wrong side is facing you. A basting stitch is a temporary stitch used to hold fabric in place before the final sewing. It is usually sewn with long, loose stitches by hand, so it can be easily removed later. Then top stitch the fly curve with your sewing machine. This is the visible stitching, so go slowly and keep it smooth, especially around the curve. Then you can remove your basting stitches and add a bar tack at the bottom of the fly curve. This is a short, dense zigzag stitch to reinforce the area since it gets a lot of stress. And the zipper fly is in. This is a big milestone in your trouser construction, so take a breath to celebrate, then continue to the next step. Now it's time to form the pleats. I know this step can feel a little confusing, but there's a simple method shown in the illustrations in your sewing instructions. Basically, you'll see 3 lines, a center line where the pleats will meet, and 2 outer lines on either side. These outer lines are your fold lines. You'll fold the fabric in towards the center line, bringing the outer lines in so they meet at the center and form the pleat shape. Take your time with this step and check the alignment carefully. To double check, you can also measure each pleat before sewing them. Pin the pleats in place, making sure both sides are symmetrical. I recommend sewing the pleats in place close to the edge of the pant, staying within the seam allowance. This way you don't have to worry that they will unfold during the next steps. Then you'll need to sew the back darts close. Fold the back darts with right sides together, matching the dart markings. Pin in place and sew from the top of the waist down to the dart point along the marked line. Do not backstitch at any point. I recommend to tie off the threads instead. Then press the dart toward the center back. Now let's move on to the pockets. With right sides together, align the pocket bag pieces to the front and back pant pieces, matching all notches. There are small triangular notches for the pockets. Sew the pocket bags to the front and back pant pieces along the pocket opening using a 1 cm seam allowance. Then serge or zigzag stitch the pocket side seams together to finish the raw edges. Top stitch the pocket opening at 2 to 3 mm from the seam of the garment side. This helps secure the pocket facing and prevents it from rolling outward. Next, finish the crotch edge of each back pant piece using a zigzag stitch or a serger to prevent fraying and give the seam a clean finish. I didn't show this step in the video, but it is an important one. Then place the back pant pieces on top of each other with right sides facing. Pin and sew the rise with 1 cm seam allowance. Press the seam allowance towards the right back pant leg. Now finish the side seams and inseams on both front and back pant pieces using a zigzag stitch or a serger, going around the pocket bags as well. Then lay the front and back pant pieces on top of each other with right sides facing. Pin the side seams and inner leg seams together, making sure all notches are matched accurately. Sew all the way around the side seam and inseam of the pants to join the front and the back pant pieces together. Make sure you carefully sew around the pocket bags as well. Then press all of your seams open. Now it's time for our first try-on and fit check. Try on your trousers and check the fit. At this stage, it is normal for the pants to feel slightly big in the waist since the curved waistband is not attached yet. However, they should not fall off. If you need to make adjustments, you can either take them in at the front pleats for larger adjustments or at the back pantarts for smaller adjustments. There is also an alternative method and design variation explained in the sewing instructions. Now it's time to attach the waistband. The waistband is a curved waistband with a jeans-style front closure. Take one waistband piece and align it with the top edge of the trousers, matching the notch at the back. Make sure the longer curve is pinned to the trousers waistline. Pin in place and sew the waistband to the pant with a 1 cm seam allowance. The waistband is intentionally drafted slightly longer than the pant waist so it can extend past the pant edges during sewing. Because part of the waistband is inevitably cut on the bias, the exact amount of stretch and take-up may vary slightly between fabric types and sizes. So your waistband may have more or less excess fabric, but don't worry, the excess is trimmed off after the final vertical seam is finished. Then press the seam allowance up into the waistband. Take your second waistband piece and place it on top of the first waistband piece with right sides together, matching the notch at the back. Sew only the top edge of the waistband with a 1 cm seam allowance. As you may notice in the video, one of my waistband pieces has a seam at the center back. This is simply because I am working with a striped fabric and wanted the stripes to align neatly at the front of the pants. You don't need to worry about this for your version, just follow the standard waistband construction. Then press the seam allowance towards the inner waistband piece, then edge stitch in place to keep the inner waistband from rolling out. Fold the open edge of the waistband inwards about 0.5 cm all the way around the edge and press to set the fold. Then fold the waistband so the right sides are facing each other and sew the short edges of the waistband, stitching a straight line from the fly area up to the edge of the waistband. Repeat this step on both sides, clip the corner and turn your waistband right side out. At this point, this edge should already be pressed if you followed the previous steps. The following step requires a lot of precision. You'll need to stitch in the ditch along the seam between the pant and the waistband. Your stitching should be invisible from the outside while securely catching the inner waistband all the way around. Pin from the front, placing the pins densely in a vertical direction. Go slowly and carefully. Stitching in the ditch takes practice, so if it doesn't come out perfect on the first try, you can always unpick and redo it. The goal is a clean finish on both the inside and outside of the waistband. And your pants are almost finished. Now it's time to add the closure of your choice. You can either use an hook and eye or a button closure. You can find detailed instructions for adding the closure in the sewing instructions. To finish the pants, we'll hem the legs by folding the raw edge inwards twice, 1.5 cm each time, and pressing as you go before stitching. These pants are designed to be worn either full length or cuffed, depending on your preferred style. I hope you enjoyed sewing along, and I'd love to see your finished version of the Root pants. Don't forget to share your makes and tag me so I can see them.